Do you hear that? Silence. Silence, silence, silence. The humming of my kitchen light. That's what I live with. I know I've talked about this quite a few times in different various outlets, from videos to long form podcasts to posts, but I didn't have like the best parents growing up. It's just the cards I was dealt. Now, to their credit, they're trying now. As an adult now, me, the relationship is different. So I see the effort. Now, the grandparents, specifically the grandmas, that's where the love was at. What I lacked in love or affection or attention or support from parents more than made up with my grandparents. I was lucky to have both sets of grandparents, and specifically my grandmas. Today, my grandma passed away, my Nana. And what people don't really know, besides from what I've already shared on, Instagram and Twitter, is that I get a lot of traits now that I utilize now because of my Nana. I was playing the piano, not playing like reading notes, but playing the piano. I took an interest in the piano at a very young age, very, very, very young, barely walking. And I remember I would sit at my my grandma's piano, my other grandma, not my Nana. So I have Nana and I have Gigi. Those were my two grandmas. I was visiting Gigi, and I remember sitting at the piano. She had like a really nice old school piano, and my older sister, would be sitting there, just kind of doing her thing, and I would want to mimic her. So I started playing the piano, like ding, 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 and act like I was orchestrating this, this grand piece. Gigi calls Nana and says he's interested in this stuff. I grew up, I was living with my dad as a child. So my dad and his mom, Nana, were the people I were around the most. And Gigi calls Nana and says he's interested in this, something to just make note of. I'm still very young, so I don't really have much of a memory of this, but I do remember going home, back to my dad's, back to Nana's, and there was now a piano. Fast forward a couple years, I remember taking piano classes. Not really doing well in them because I can't read music, but I never let go of playing the piano. And that's because Nana would always make sure I would have a piano. I went through quite a few bit of pianos, and she always made sure I had one with me. So my affection and love for music, starting with the piano, was because of Nana. Before me, the only other person in my family who served in the military was my papa, Nana's husband. And he was an officer, a pilot in the Navy. He came from Cuba, and they said they would give him an American citizenship back in the 50s, 60s time frame if he would fly helicopters for the Navy. So he agreed. I kind of remember always growing up and hearing these stories, not like war stories, but just life stories, life in the military, life in the Navy. And though I did not end up joining the Navy, I did join the Marine Corps, which is effectively Department of the Navy. And one of my earliest rooted memories of the military lifestyle was my grandpa, because of all these stories that Nana would tell me. So my success, my military success in my career and everything I was doing outside of the military, outside of this, roots started with Nana. She always had a stubborn attitude about her. Very quick-witted, quick comebacks, and was quite the force to be reckoned with. And I just remember, I have all these memories, I won't even go into one, but of just her humor that I'm pretty sure in some way, shape, or form of capacity, especially with my stubbornness, came from her. She's one of the kindest people that I knew. Anybody who met her, anyone who ever crossed paths with her would always say the same thing of how kind-hearted and giving she was. And now, she's gone. And I understand life. And I understand death. But what's interesting is I was taking a shower right before doing this tonight. And it hit me. I've been here before. I've been in this very position before. 3 years ago, to the month, Gigi passed away. And the situation I've been in before is I was getting started with my independent flourishing or trying to water these seeds that I planted for media, music, YouTube, podcasts, skit, you name it, I wanted to do it. Because I recognize my talent in it. I recognize my voice that I can bring to it. 3 years ago, I had just got started doing the Tailosive Tech podcast, and also wrote the first theme song for Front Page Tech at the time, season 6. That's when I came on board. At the height of everything just lining up and cool, now I got all these cool little projects I can work on and do something with. My grandmother, Gigi, passed away. And I stopped in my tracks, paused. Oh. And I needed a moment to regroup. So I did. Then slowly but surely brushed myself off, got back up on my feet, and kept going. And then 1.5 years ago, my niece passed away. Right as 2019 was growing for me, again, I was putting out constant videos, just round 2 of just excitement for the year. Cold in my tracks, brought to my knees. I lost my knees. So then I stopped, I regrouped, I brushed myself off, got back up on my feet, and I kept going. Today, my grandmother passed away. And this time, while off camera, what you don't see is the foundation I'm finally establishing, getting ready to launch for 2021 and beyond. This time, I'm ready to go full time. And now I'm at a pause again. So now, very soon, I'm gonna have to stand up, brush myself off, and keep going. Whatever your belief system is, it is hard to deny the parallels that keep happening to me. Normally, I have a message or a conclusion with my message, but I don't. I don't know why this happens. I don't know why at the height of my mental capacity, when I feel my healthiest, I have to stop what I'm doing to deal with something external that I can't control. And then I have to regroup again. It's weird. It's confusing. It's beyond my ability to comprehend. But I know this is what I want to do. After leaving the Marine Corps, I worked as a contractor for national security, with the military being my client for years. I was making good money. I was making good friends. I was enjoying myself, really. But that's not what I want to do. That's not where my heart's at. I didn't put national security on my wrist. I put create. And every time I'm ready to go, and something happens. Every time. And I don't know why. But I know that I have to recognize the patterns. And trust that it'll eventually all work out in the end. It'll all make sense in the end. Because I can't see myself not trying still. I don't think I'm strong enough to do anything else. The difference this time, today, is I'm all alone. I'm alone in my head. I'm alone in my life. I'm alone in this house. The patterns keep happening. This all has to mean something. That's all I know. But I don't know what that something is. I have all these cool projects that are about to launch that I promise you you're going to witness and you're going to see, and you might even appreciate and enjoy, that I've been working on, that few people in different groups know what they are because either they were a part of it or I've shared with them it, and I'm ready to start. And I just feel like the wind has been knocked out of me again. Because the people who ever gave me love, that ever made me feel worth a damn, it's getting smaller. It's getting smaller. It's getting quieter. It's getting lonelier. But I gotta keep going. But history is bound to repeat itself in some capacity, whatever the hell this means, if I don't recognize the pattern. So maybe something will change with this one. Just maybe.